It all starts with a question that's shaking every hallway of Westminster right now, and trust me, people aren't whispering it as gossip this time. They're talking about it like a warning siren. Who is Meghan Markle without the monarchy? A question so sharp it could cut through Parliament's wooden benches. And suddenly, behind those old Parliament doors, lawmakers are tightening every little rule about who can use a royal title, who can make money from it, and who is getting way too close to treating a centuries-old crown like a brand logo. And right in the center of this storm sits Meghan's shiny new business empire, the one her team hoped would be global, glamorous, unstoppable, until the UK government basically said, "Not with our crown, you won't." Her team clearly thought they could build an empire with the glow of Duchess as the spotlight. But Parliament's response? Ice cold, sharp, final. The crown is not a marketing asset and it will not be lent out for commercial fun. And here's the part nobody saw coming. Insiders say this push didn't start with politicians at all. It started with Prince William himself. Quiet, steady, polite William, the future king, who decided he'd had enough. No yelling, no tantrums, nothing dramatic, just a man who'd finally reached the point where protecting the monarchy mattered more than keeping the peace. People inside the palace swear there was a private moment, barely a whisper, when William told his advisors, "This isn't revenge, it's survival." And that was it. That single sentence changed the entire direction of the monarchy. Because William had finally realized something Charles never wanted to see. Every time Charles forgave, the palace paid the price. Every apology led to another headline. Every olive branch turned into another documentary. Every "let's keep peace" turned into another attack on the monarchy's dignity. Charles kept believing in gentle conversations and cups of tea. William believed that kindness had become a weakness, and he wasn't going to let the monarchy drown because someone didn't want to say the word no. In one tense exchange, Charles begged for softness. William responded with the line that slammed the door shut. "Mercy is what got us here." He wasn't shouting. He didn't need to. He was simply done. Done with the cycles, done with the embarrassment, done with the chaos. And once William reached that point, everything started shifting quietly but powerfully. He didn't blow things up. He tightened them. He didn't attack anyone. He rebuilt the institution. A smaller monarchy, a clearer monarchy, a monarchy where titles meant work, not lifestyle branding. No. Part-time royals. No confusion, no people carrying titles in one hand and commercial deals in the other. This wasn't revenge on Meghan and Harry. This was William preparing the monarchy for the next 100 years. Clean, modern, and honestly, merciless. But in the way a leader has to be when the institution's future is at stake. And behind those palace walls, William reached for the oldest, sharpest tool the monarchy has, letters patent. Most people don't even know what that is, but inside royal circles, it's like the nuclear button. One signature. That's all it takes to make someone a prince or erase that title forever. No courtroom, no politician, no debate. The last big rewrite was in 1917 when King George V slashed the title list so brutally that even today people forget how severe it was. And the only reason Archie and Lilibet ever ended up with titles was because Charles became king. But here's the part that has Meghan's whole team losing sleep. William can rewrite it again, anytime. And palace insiders say the next version already exists, drafted, waiting, sitting in Kensington Palace like a loaded weapon. And the rules in that draft? Brutal. Only working royals. Keep titles. Only direct heirs stay protected. Any royal child living abroad automatically loses their title. No arguments, no negotiations, just done. And Meghan's empire? It balances entirely on one word: Duchess. Without it, the glow disappears, the power dims, the doors stop opening, and William knows that. But he didn't come up with this strategy out of thin air. He studied another monarchy that actually did it, Denmark. Their queen stripped 4 of her grandchildren of their titles overnight. Calmly, cleanly, no drama, no media circus. Just a firm decision. William didn't just notice it, he admired it. He studied the timing, the wording, the legal structure, everything. He even brought in European advisors who helped guide other monarchies through their own difficult transitions. William wasn't reacting emotionally. He was building a blueprint, a long-term strategy, a monarchy sharpened into a clean-cut system. Quiet, effective, unshakable. Meanwhile, in Montecito, the sky looked sunny, but the atmosphere was tense enough to crack. Hollywood insiders were whispering about William's plan before the media even caught a whiff. Meghan's team realized the truth. Her entire post-royal identity sits on the glow of that title. The title gets her brand deals. The title gets her speaking gigs. The title gives weight to every headline. Without it, she becomes what Hollywood already has too much of, just another celebrity in a very crowded place. The title is the engine, and if William takes it back, the engine dies. Her team panicked. Crisis calls, emergency meetings, PR consultants flying in, lawyers scrambling. They feared one thing above all, losing the word Duchess. And so came the wildest idea of all, trademark Duchess of Sussex as a surname, as a permanent brand identity, as a legal name that the palace couldn't touch. It sounded extreme, but desperate people do desperate things. But palace lawyers aren't naive. They saw it coming. And before Meghan's team could file anything, Buckingham Palace tightened every single trademark rule related to royal titles. No commercial use, no branding, no ownership, no loopholes, nothing. The message was silent but razor sharp. The monarchy decides who carries its name, not celebrities, not lawyers, not Hollywood. And that's when Meghan's world tilted, because William's plan wasn't hypothetical anymore. It was already moving forward. Parliament was working to align its laws so that once William becomes king, he won't even need political approval to define royal status. He can act instantly, completely, permanently. And the moment he's king, the first titles on the chopping block are Harry's and Meghan's. Not out of spite, out of principle. William refuses to let royal titles become fashion accessories for people who do not serve the crown. The monarchy will not be influenced by Netflix deals, PR strategies, branding dreams, or Hollywood storytelling. William wants it smaller, stronger, and impossible to exploit. Even people in Parliament, politicians who previously questioned whether the monarchy even mattered, quietly admitted the institution looked sharper now, more dignified, more disciplined. The drama was gone. The noise was gone. The crown finally felt like an institution again, not a reality show. Inside Buckingham Palace, the atmosphere shifted. Officials say it was the first real calm in years, a silence that felt peaceful, not tense. A sign that William's approach was restoring stability. He wasn't acting like someone waiting for the throne. He was acting like someone preparing to transform it. Meanwhile, across the ocean, Meghan's empire was trembling. Every contract, every deal, every partnership leaned on her title, not her work, not her history, the title. And William's plan targeted precisely that. If William signs the new letters, patent, the title Duchess of Sussex disappears for her overnight. Not slowly, instantly. Her speaking fees shrink. Brands reconsider. Hollywood sees less sparkle. The royal glow fades. And Meghan has to face a truth no one in her team wants to say out loud. A duchess without a duchess title is no duchess at all. Her team tried everything, new strategies, trademark tricks, identity pivots, but the palace had already closed every door. And when the monarchy closes a door, it stays closed. The empire she worked on suddenly felt fragile because that empire was built on borrowed shine, and the shine was being taken back. In the end, this story doesn't finish with lawsuits, interviews, or headlines. It ends with silence, the kind of silence that means something has permanently shifted. William strengthened the monarchy. Parliament reinforced it, the chaos faded. And the royal machine kept moving forward without looking back. For the crown, the message is simple. The monarchy does not compete, it reigns. But for Meghan, the silence feels different. Because now she faces the question she never thought she'd have to answer. Who is Meghan Markle without the monarchy? A celebrity? A public figure? A humanitarian? Or someone still searching for the identity she traded the day the palace reclaimed what was never hers to own? That question hangs in the air, unblinking, sharp, final. And somewhere in Buckingham Palace's newfound calm, one truth echoes like a closing. You can leave the royal family, you can criticize it, you can profit from it, but you cannot control it, because in the end, the crown always takes itself back. And while that final truth settles in the air like dust after a storm, there's something else quietly unfolding, something almost nobody outside the palace realizes yet. William's plan wasn't just about Meghan's title. It was about the long-term identity of the monarchy itself. And when he shut the door, he didn't do it with anger, he did it with clarity. The kind of clarity that comes when a future king finally accepts that the institution he's about to inherit must survive louder voices, brighter spotlights, and people who treat royal titles as stepping stones instead of sacred responsibilities. But on the other side of the world, that clarity feels like a shockwave. Meghan's team, still desperate, still scrambling, kept asking the same question again and again in their meetings. Is there any way to hold on to the shine? And every expert they hired said the same thing. The monarchy doesn't negotiate its identity. It doesn't bend. It doesn't bargain. Meghan could change her brand, her strategy, her projects, but she could not keep a title without the crown's permission. And that permission was dissolving faster than she ever expected. Some insiders even reveal that Meghan tried floating the idea of a complete rebrand, something bigger, glossier, more Hollywood than royal. But every time someone suggested dropping the title entirely and rebuilding from scratch, the room went silent because everyone knew why people cared. Everyone knew what made brands line up at her door. Everyone knew what gave her image that extra sparkle that others didn't have. And removing that meant starting from zero, something her entire team feared more than the loss of any single deal. Meanwhile, back in London, William's strategy was moving forward with quiet, surgical precision. Parliament was drafting alignments, legal committees were reviewing language, constitutional advisors were smoothing out the fine print. This wasn't chaos, it was choreography. Every step carefully placed, every detail checked twice, every loophole sealed. Because William wasn't building a plan for next year. He was building a plan for the next generation, for George, for Charlotte, for Louis, for a monarchy that didn't crumble or wobble every time someone decided to cash in on a royal name. And the more this plan solidified, the more Buckingham Palace felt something they hadn't felt in a long time: relief. Relief that the institution was finally putting itself first. Relief that boundaries were no longer blurry. Relief that the title of royal meant something again. But for Meghan, that same clarity felt like a closing door. Every signal from London became a reminder of the same harsh truth. She had built an identity around something she didn't fully own. And now the owner was taking it back. Her friends say she's trying to stay calm, trying to stay steady, but every fresh rumor from Westminster, every whisper about William's reform feels like another crack in the armor she carefully built. Because when her team talks about the future, about her image, about her brand, everything circles back to that same question, the one she never thought she'd face. Without the title, without the royal shine, without the halo she built her empire around, who does she become now? And as that question lingers, the world is watching quietly because the answer, when it finally arrives, might change everything.